Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Okay, before I start, y'all make a lot of noise for me, because I'm like... You gotta have peace and blessings, prosperity on the microphone before I start. I always have to start with the Creator, because if I hadn't been created, then I wouldn't be able to share the things that He shares with me to share with you. So there's a reason why I'm here and why you're here tonight, all right?
All right.
All right. Oh, well, yeah, I kind of did it. This piece is called Perpendicular. Perpendicular is like it's a very personal piece. Sometime after I wrote it, I actually saw the poetry come into life and manifest itself. I don't know if you're familiar with, most of us are, but it says in the beginning there was the Word, and the Word was with God, because God was the Word. We have to understand how much power there is in the tongue. A friend said to me one day, she said, it's the easiest thing, the lightest thing to carry, but the hardest thing to hold. That's because there's so much strength in it. We have to be careful of the things that we speak, but perpendicular is a piece of prophecy. I was actually sitting on the front stoop of my house when I actually realized that I was going through the entire motions of the piece. So, it came to me in a dream, it manifested into life, and basically that's perpendicular. Round about midnight, my soul began to cry. Here I am, Lord. Here I am, Lord. I pray my life is acceptable to you. Lying. Flat on my back, I go over the day's events, wondering if my time was well spent. As the unconscious reflects and manifests unresolved conflicts of the conscious, I think conscientiously if any of my actions have been in vain. So, upright I spring and feel a sense of urgency, because it's urgently I remember how I used to be without form. Lost, void of love, smoking my mind away, a raging inferno, puncturing my insides to provide a man with sexual gratification, abstaining from self-respect. As graffiti sprayed against my stomach with each moan and heavy breath, you see, I was suffering from a destructive instinct called death. So while in the midst of demons, I could hear a voice saying, "Free is your soul, you soul, for too blunt and an orgasm." I plead for mercy, because I am in no condition to recondition myself, and I am left with one choice: supplication, to get my mind right and my esteem straight before this life is over, and an attempt for righteousness is one day too late. So late in the evening, in the middle of a blunt, I understand that denial is betrayal, and perception is deception. And without exception, I must become perpendicular. In particular, I must turn my life upright from the downside, so I may finally reside in His bosom, comforted from all pain, especially that which I inflicted upon myself. And with His help, I am granted a rebirth, a vertical push into the supernatural, where I no longer question my existence, and lifelong lessons equate to experience. And now my preference is spirituality. For blessings meant for me ascend horizontally, and there's 360 degrees of reciprocity. You see, I am finally standing erect. My head is held high. My eyes are fixed on the prize. My wings are spread wide, ready to mount up and fly to the focal points of history, where life is no longer a mystery, but a means to be perpendicular. That's that piece. Jasmine is a personal piece, like perpendicular. It's more personal than any of my other pieces that I've done. It's probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite, pieces besides Forgotten. Jasmine is centered around my teenage years, you know, when you do stuff that's foolish and stupid. But it's based off my first experience with sexual relations. It's really a tribute to that particular individual. There was a poet that once said, by the name of Deep Blue Sea, he said, every time a woman lies down, a man goes wild, and she gets up with a little bit of his spirit. And that's true. There's a lot of things that I kind of have to let come out of myself to let things go with that piece. It's a healing piece. But for that individual, if he ever sees this, he'll know who he is. By the description, he will know himself. But if he ever watches this, this is just to say thank you. If I ever learned anything from him, I saw a reflection in him of myself that basically was like belief. Now, he taught me to believe in myself, but he didn't teach me anything else. He taught me that sometimes emotions can be a hindrance, kind of keep the emotions from weighing on your shoulders. But yeah, that piece it goes deep. It's always going to be special to me just because of me. And that's just stage presence that's magnificent. Sweet incantations and renditions that blow my mind as he carries intricate melodies on the tip of his fingers. A night's indonesia lingers about my ears as he whispers sweet nothings about everything. The hi-hat rings tantalizing vibratos about my jazz man, my protector, my king taking giant steps into the universe. My alto saxon, strange fruit-eating combo of a father and friend. You see, a summer workshop is where it all began in syncopated rhythms. As we found our own set outside the band. A phone call here and there, and in between rehearsals of mixolydian and pentatonic scales, he, my whoring tiger, and I, his flashlight, because the color of my eyes changed every time this man walked into the room. Implausible impressions of Coltrane. My tenor sax playing, native of Louisiana with a slight twang in his speech. Strong hands that grab down deep, reach inside my soul and make me sing heaven. I am in heaven. With irresistible groove knots on solid ground as he makes my turkey person. This jazz man, my caravan, my downtime, the motivation to do better in life and love, and in the madness of rapid fire eighth notes leaping off the scores of pages while performing on stages in front of audiences that were too caught up in the melodic drift to distinguish our adoring glances at each other. One after another, after another. In due time, things would become more serious. Like my first experience with sexual relations, which led to the contemplation of marriage. The only problem, he 20 and I 6 years younger. His aunts, and shit, my mother. But there will never be another like my high-stepping, sousaphone playing, musical arranging lost love of a past life that I couldn't sit by and let slip through my fingers, my arms. You see, this jazz man kept me on tropical voyages, moaning his name and groaning in pain, contemplating his thoughts and loving him exclusively, while riffing on the tide of cut-time melodies, dreaming of what was and what could never be between me, my jazz man, my protector, and my king. And that's that.